Alright then guys, today we're going to be doing a new Lord of SQLite challenge, and the challenge that we're going to be doing today is going to be called Nightmare. So with this challenge, it seems that we're restricted on what we can't do, so we can't comment stuff out real quick. So if you go straight away with that hashtag, oh wait, let me check, percentage 23 is hashtag, so percentage 23, that's a hashtag, we get no hack. And if we do something like comments or like dashes, we get no hack as well. So we're restricted on what we can do. We can't comment stuff out, which will be nice, because if we were to comment stuff out, we could probably like bypass this part, because you see right here, get PW, we could pass in stuff on PW inside this parenthesis thing. And also, a thing we have to keep in mind is that we are only limited to 6 characters. So if I do more than 6, so if I do 1 2 3 4 5 6, is still valid. But once we go past that, we get no hack. So we're limited on what we can't do. So you're thinking to ourselves, how do we solve this challenge for the most part? Because all we need to do is just return any ID result just to solve this challenge for the most part. So what do we do? So basically for this challenge, all we need to do is think of the same idea. So first we want to do is be able to close out this part of it, because we can insert in the middle right here. So we want to be able to close this part, make our own what's this quotation mark and then like closing parentheses. So what we could do at the beginning is start with a quotation mark and closing parentheses. So we see right here, we close this part of it. Now what we want to do is be able to find a way to overwrite this for the most part. So what we could do after is do something like equals to a random value. So in our case, we'll probably set it equal to 0, and then we just close it. So now what we did for the most part is we created a query for our ID, and we set it, the password is equal to 0, and then we closed it. But for this part, it's still not returning. It's still not returning solve. Reason being is because if you see right here for where it fetches it, because we want to see the result is equal to ID right here, right? If we look at what MySQL fetch array and then MySQL query, if we look what MySQL query does for the most part, I guess I'm getting kind of ahead of myself, but if we look at this function MySQL query, it's passing in a string. The two things you pass into MySQL query is a string and then an integer. And if you see right here, we have DB and then the query. Let's see right here. Result mode. Oh, MySQL query. Oh yeah, so it's this one. It's this part. So we pass in the SQL query, and then the string, which is the query right here. So the trick to this, since we're not allowed to comment stuff out right here, you gotta think about it. This is still represented as a string, and if you guys don't know, strings ends with a null byte. So what is a null byte? String in PHP, does it end with a null byte? So I looked this up. So PHP strings can contain null byte. So what does null byte does at the end of it? So so this allows storing character string uses. So string C strings. So we could look PHP strings and with no byte. PHP can contain no bytes, so a .NET at the PHP the byte is nothing, so the character is just another unit of trouble. It begins when string is being passed, so for which no byte is a string terminator. And this, so you see right here in foo.txt, and then we have a no byte character. What happens is that it ignores everything after it, if you see right here. So if you just control zoom in right here, you see foo.text and then no byte.php. What happens is that the request will just accept the first part, which is foo.text, which is this part. So that's basically what we're doing with no byte. So if we were to add a no byte, which is percentage 00 onto here, we see that nightmare gets cleared. Reason being is because of the null byte character being passed in inside MySQL query. So now you're asking, how does this work for the most part? So if I copy this into here, we see something similar right here, where if you see run, it returns everything that's sales, right? Now if we do something similar where we're department, so you see right here, I'll just copy this query right here, copy. Select, this is select ID, but this is select everything from employee where department is equal to sales. But we want to do something similar right here. So what we could do is something like this, where we just empty it out, and then after that we just set it equal to 0. Well, not 0, because I don't think it's gonna return anything, but we could probably set it to like something with sales or something. So we just run this, see, look, where department is equals, and see, look, it returns everything. It returns everything from it. So that's how that basically works for the most part. I wonder if you could change this, if you change this to 1. Oh, I'm pretty sure it would still work. Oh, that didn't work. We changed it to 2. That didn't work. So I guess for in this case, this still works as 0. We run this, it returns everything for the most part. So yeah. So yeah, so that was about it for this challenge. Just, I guess, understanding about the null byte characters and the PW is equal to 0 for the most part. And yeah, I wonder why this happens. So you select everything from employee where the department is equal to 0, but the department isn't equal to 0, which is pretty weird. I wonder what ChatGPT says here. But we could probably put it on ChatGPT. Why does this return all the values? Oh, let's see what ChatGPT says. It's not a valid way to. There will be single quotes. Let's see. This was still good. Is in most databases, when you compare a string to it, often considered true for rows where the column is not empty. Oh, so it says right here. So this query is checking for results of comparison of the department is equal to 0. In most data where you compare a string to an empty string, it is often considered true for rows where the column is not empty. So I guess they printed out everything that's not. So the condition. So that is essentially checking if the department column is not empty or not null. And since you are comparing it to the result of true, it will return all the rows where the department is not empty or null. Also, this basically is returning everything that's not empty or null. So that kind of makes sense. So it's returning all the values where it's not empty or null. So if these values, technically, if these were empty, these shouldn't print out for the most part. I mean, it kind of makes sense for the other one, since you can think of it as probably returning all the IDs when it's not empty. So see, like, nothing came out. Oh, so that kind of makes sense for the most part. So I guess that's it for this challenge. Just, I guess, understanding how this works for the most part. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.